Yes, everybody, welcome back to DR Sports Live at 5. We're here to talk about all of the latest Premier League news and reaction. And obviously, we know you might have been watching the weekend roundup, of course, where they went all through all the games. We're going to get a little bit deeper into what's gone on so far in the Premier League this season. We've had, 6 match days now. So I think teams are getting into flow, they're getting into business, and the storylines are starting to be written. But make sure you like, subscribe, check out everyone's socials below, and get your comments in about what we're talking about. But I want to dive in first about the Premier League referees this weekend. And I've got plenty of people to join me. I've got Jack on my left. And then even further on my left, I've got Laurie, and then also joined by Quams.
Yes.
So I am surrounded by Arsenal fans, as I am every Monday. I come in and I go, "Oh, who's on the show with me today?" And they go, "Arsenal fans."
You signed up for it, mate. Come on.
It's just Arsenal fans, Arsenal fans, Arsenal fans. So 3 against 1.
You can't get away from us.
I really can't. Not in this studio, definitely not. But I want to talk about the Premier League this weekend, because we'll start with the Arsenal Newcastle game and kind of the controversy surrounding it, because I think you can pick out about 5 or 6 decisions in that game that just don't really make sense, or like are really controversial, and not even necessarily just because of the decision that was made, also the rules that are behind those decisions. I'm finding increasingly you delve into the rules and the rules are bizarre, because I want to bring up the Gabriel handball. It was not given as a handball.
I thought you would have started with the penalty that wasn't given.
Well, we'll get on to that, but
he wants to start on Arsenal doing something wrong.
But I just want to talk about the fact this rule, which I find so bizarre. It's that, so the rule was, if the ball touches the part of the body of a player before it then touches the arm, it's then not a yellow card, or not a red card, or not a penalty, or not a foul, etc. But when you look at the actual what happened, you've got the ball goes that way, and Gabriel's arm is here, and you look at that and go, any other day, in any other kind of in terms of actually just thinking about it from a sensible perspective, you go, that's a clear handball. But so even though the referee technically made the right decision because he followed the rules are then wrong. So I feel like it's becoming, there's a deeper level of the referees this season, and in the previous seasons, we know, as we all say, they're not great. Like so many times we sat there and read an apology, or we've read here, or you've seen the Premier League match centres getting getting community noted for being wrong. But then even the rules now, to a certain extent, are just looking to be wrong or just make no sense.
Well, that's what I said to one of my mates after the game. I was having this proper debate with a Liverpool fan, and I was like, I 100% agree with you that if someone went to ground with their arm straight up in the air and it hit their hand, I would say it's literally going through to the box. That should be a penalty. But the problem is, whether you like it or not, it's not a penalty under the current Premier League rules. It hits off a body part, and it's a black and white rule. It is or it isn't. It did touch his shin or it didn't. So I was trying to say to him, I agree with you. I would love that to be given as a penalty in football. I think it should be, but it just isn't. So the referee didn't make a mistake. It's just the rules are crazy. Because if he doesn't touch his hand, it's going into the box. Like, someone's going to get on the end of that. So he has stopped it going in, and it's taken a tiniest nick off his shin. But rules are rules.
I must admit, when the incident happened live, we did a watch along for AFTV, and as soon as it happened, my head was in my hands, because I thought, oh no, that's a penalty. But as Jack says, the rules are the rules. I can see why that rule might be in place, though, because there will be instances where the ball has touched a part of your body and you simply can't help it. It rolls up on your arm. Should that really be given as a penalty? I'm not so sure. I mean, you know, there are nuances to it, in other words.
Yeah, no, there are. I just feel it's the way that the rules are being interpreted at the time, and then it's because the decisions have been so inconsistent. It's now we're even looking at things that we would say, oh yeah, no, that's not a handball. We're now like thinking, you know what, yeah, that could be given. For me personally, I thought that was just a ball to hand moment, in a sense. Gabriel's gone down, he's tried to block it with his body. Where else are you going to put your hands, like really and truly, in terms of science? Where are you going to put your hands, or physics? So he's using
his hand was a bit high though.
Yeah.
Was it in a natural or unnatural position? That's the question. And obviously they were like, well, no, it was in a natural position, so that's fine. What about the Martinelli? I think Martinelli had a shot and it came off of Bruno Guimaraes' hand.
It goes right before the goal as well.
Right. Well, shouldn't that then be a penalty as well then? So it's like there's so many. If you give for one, then you've got to start giving for all. And I think like yesterday, the game started with Joe Linton taking out Eze. And we was like, that's a yellow. That's a straight yellow card. But the referee decided, no, you know what? I'm not going to give it a yellow. And he set the standard of how he wants to ref the game. So it's annoying because, you see it week in, week out. They keep changing it. They keep changing the rules. There's some referees that are actually making good decisions. But then once it goes to Stockley Park, they're reversing it.
But then, like you said, you made a very good point. A lot of the rules, no matter how binary they may appear to be, are open to interpretation.
Yeah.
So, there is the rule in place, but then there's also the referee's interpretation.
Yeah, that's why I think they've got to add context to this sort of stuff. Like you're saying with the Gabriel handball, yes, it touches his shin, so by the rules it's not a handball, but it is literally up in the air.
Yeah, you just
if he's sliding and it hits his arm like underneath him, I'd be like, that's fair enough. Like he's sliding, like what do you want him to do? But his hand is directly up in the air. And like the ones where it's like if he's just stood there and they blast against his thigh and it goes off his thigh into his hand, I get that, it's nothing he can do. But for those ones, like it's so out of his natural position, they're the ones I was like, that's where you apply a bit of context. You'll be like, yes, it hit your shin, but mate, look at it.
But then I feel like they had a look at that opportunity, or they had a look at that go, obviously because of what happened early in the game, which we'll talk about with the Gyökeres and Nick Pope. Because they look in so much detail with how much contact come off of Nick Pope in terms of the ball, or was he coming to the ball or not. They had to look at Gabriel's one as well with a fine cone,
He's definitely made the right decision. It's whether you think that should be the right decision is the question. Like,
that's what I want about with this, is that it's like kind of as much as you can blame the referees for some of the errors, definitely. There is a certain extent of also as well as the rules that they're trying to govern are bizarre. And you mentioned the Gyökeres one, that's another one I want to talk about. That's another one where I think, I looked at it, I went, that's a stonewall penalty.
Yeah.
And then you see the tiniest little nick from Nick Pope, and I go, that's not changed my mind.
Yeah.
Gyökeres is running through, goes around the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper clears him like there's no tomorrow. He boots him out the stadium. And then you're going, oh, no. His tiny bit leg here, and a tiny little thing here. Oh, that means
I don't know if you saw.
perfect.
I don't know if you saw Match of the Day last night. Match of the Day 2.
No.
Joe Hart was.
He
on
was
there.
explaining, innit?
Yeah, he was giving some impassioned plea about why they got that right.
Goalkeepers,
It's just.
And I'm like, bro, come on. The aesthetics of it are clear.
He stopped his...
As you said, he totally cleaned him out.
Yeah.
It's a stonewall penalty.
And even and then Chelsea fans, my mates who are Chelsea fans, afterwards are going, well, Sanchez got a foot to the ball when he took out Mbumo last week. And we all agreed that was a red card. So why is that a red card? This one's not even a foul or a penalty. So, like...
Well,
where's the consistency in every single week? The change, they keep changing the rules.
Shall I tell you what annoyed me about that, though, just very quickly, is that the referee actually got that right. He gave the penalty.
I agree.
But what annoyed me is that him and so many other referees, he gets called over to have a look at it again, right? Obviously, he's seen it, he can see it again, and then he's changed his mind basically on the instruction of those guys in Stockley Park, because the rules are clear. It has to be clear and obvious. That is not clear and obvious that he would have made a mistake.
Yeah.
So go with your initial decision. Show some cojones and don't just be...
Arteta and Saka both said it after the game, and I don't agree with Arteta often when he talks about referees after matches.
That's a disgrace.
Yeah, and I don't think I can be blamed too much for that, because he does talk about it a lot. But in this case, he basically went, if you take that long to make a decision, it wasn't a clear and obvious error to start with.
Exactly.
You can understand
Despite
the length
what
of
Joe Hart
time
was saying.
sometimes when it comes to offsides, for example. Like, I do think they take the absolute mix sometimes, but sometimes the offsides are literally like millimeters. So you kind of get it when they're like, oh, we need to be super right with this. But with that, if you take more than 20 seconds to make a decision, you see the two replays. If you can't then go 100% agree that needs to be changed, it's not a clear and obvious error.
And the other thing is as well, I'm an advocate for VAR. I want VAR in the game.
We all do.
No, but there's a lot of people saying, no, get rid of it. I'm not one of those. I wanted
How it's
VAR.
being used.
Exactly.
That's the key.
Exactly. That's the way
It's not the technology, it's actually it's people using it. I've always thought, I've said this for ages, why is it normal referees using the VAR? I've always thought, why not have people who are VAR trained referees? I feel like it would make a difference, because if you have people who study and train to become people who just operate the VAR room, in the same way you have people who study and train to become on-pitch referees, I feel like there would be a better balance and difference, because there might be the people who are specifically learning to use the VAR will be more trained in understanding the context.
On a point of note, does anyone ever know of a referee that's actually said to or declined to take VAR's instruction. Said, actually, no, I'm going to stay.
Nothing comes to mind.
Yeah, I can't remember one
where they've gone to the screen and not changed their mind. But
yeah.
the most damning thing for me yesterday, and the most telling thing, was that our enemies were agreeing with us. Like, I opened Twitter to see like Mark Goldbridge being like, "That's a penalty." I saw Boovy, a City fan, being like, "That's a Stonewall penalty."
Neville, all of them.
Everyone was coming out and being like, "Don't like Arsenal, but I cannot believe that that's not been given." And that's when I'm like, okay. It's not just Arsenal fans that are seeing this one. It's everyone.
It's like they're trying to the way that they it's like they bamboozle you by explaining the rules, isn't it? Because I think I watched the one, was it Jay Bothroyd, and he's like trying to explain to Dermot, and Dermot's like, no, it's this, is that.
I don't care. I'm a striker. It's a penalty.
Right, and then it's. I think going back to what Dylan said about, you should have people that are trained, specifically trained, but I just feel like you should just have ex-professionals that have actually played the game, that actually understand like the movement patterns of players, and
you say that, but if Joe Hart was on the panel, he would have.
He's a goalkeeper. But it's just there are ex-pros there that talk sense. They understand it. There has to be something, because I just feel like you're plucking these guys and you're putting them in Stockley Park, and they seem to be getting a lot of the key decisions wrong. Each point is so important for all of the teams, not just the teams at the top, the Arsenals and the Liverpools, but also the Sunderlands and the West Hams. Sunderland are doing all right. The West Hams,
respectfully,
respectfully.
You know what else is wrong with VAR as well? It's almost like when a goal is scored, it's like they try every single way to find a way to rule it out, and you think like
with Arsenal,
if it's in doubt. Just let it go. You know what I mean? But they will scrutinise something for 10 minutes to find that one little grey area that they can say, well, actually...
They should have a timer where, or something in place where they have to make a decision on if there should be a second look within 10 seconds or something. Because I mean, the clear and obvious error, like, if something is clear and obvious, by definition, you need a couple seconds to see it and understand it, right?
Yeah.
And so if you're then taking 4 or 5 minutes to then decide if then the referee needs to go to the screen, it's not clear and obvious.
Especially when the referee's gone against that decision.
And for me, the justification just didn't make sense either. That was the thing that really confused me. Like, they came out on, they speak to the stadium.
Yeah.
He said, on review, the Newcastle goalkeeper plays the ball. He doesn't play the ball. Gyökeres gets there so long before Pope. He nicks it round him. It just so happens that the way Gyökeres flicks it, it then flicks off Pope's toe, and he gets cleaned out. At no point has Pope got to the ball first. At no point has Pope won the ball. At no point has he played the ball. It just so happens that where Gyökeres nicks it, it goes off Pope where his leg is, and he gets cleaned out. Like, if he goes in for the 50-50, gets a toe on the ball and cleans out Gyökeres, fair enough.
He literally stood in the way.
He's won the ball, but he's not.
The ball touches him rather than him actually going.
And the other thing on that as well is, in any other area of the pitch, not only is that a foul, but he gets a booking or a red card.
Yeah. I find it nuts. And also, you've now got the referees as well. I'm going to say, they don't know the rules.
No.
And look at the United game and that Brentford. So I think that we thoroughly deserved to lose that game. Brentford were the deserved winners of that game. But that refereeing decision was absolutely shambolic. You've got 3 incorrect decisions in the space of a couple of minutes. You've got the penalty is given, and it's given on field. I like that the referee initially stood there, took a second, and went, that's a penalty. So you say that's a penalty, meaning you're going, that's definitely a foul. And then you then look at the replays and you think normally double jeopardy means you can't get a red card in the box. But that rule can be surpassed if it looks as if the player was only trying to do the foul rather than actually trying to play the ball.
They've got to make a deliberate attempt to win the ball for double jeopardy to kick on.
Exactly. And you look at Nathan Collins and everything and you go, all right, he doesn't. He isn't. He's literally just pulling him back. You go, okay, fair, cool. That's a deliberate foul, a deliberate act. And by the way, after the game, Nathan Collins went, it was a tactical foul. He openly admitted that there was no way he was trying to play the ball. And then they go, okay, he's not playing the ball. Right. Is it denial of a goal-scoring opportunity? And they've gone, no, because Mbeumo wasn't in control of the ball. And you go, but it's a first-time finish. He doesn't need to be in control of the ball because he's hitting it immediately. Because the precedent they've now set there, right, is as long as you clear the player out before they touch the ball, it's not a goal-scoring opportunity. So let's say Gyökeres is running through, right, and then there's who's a quick centre back.
Van der Ven.
Van der Ven is coming, and behind him, right? Let's say he's 3 yards behind him, and he just goes, you know what, Gyökeres, your ankles are mine. And he just takes him out. If Gyökeres hasn't touched the ball, by definition of the decision they made there, it's not a goal-scoring opportunity, even because Mbeumo was the last man.
And goal-scoring opportunity doesn't mean that he's going to score. It means he's going to have a chance to score, and he's going to flick it goalwards. Whether he just flicks it straight at the keeper's hands is not the point.
But he's going to hit it, and also considering the player it is, that's a goal. Every day will be that's a goal. Then after all that decision, they then go, while we're making this, you know what, Brentford, you can make some subs. And in the rule book, it says you're not allowed to make subs before a penalty's taken.
Did that happen at Fulham as well?
The goalkeeper. I don't know if it happened at Fulham.
For the Bruno one, I remember it took ages to take that.
No, that was just
that the ref?
When he bumped into the ref.
He bundled into the ref.
Yeah, that was the bumping into the referee, and then the referee then had another word, but that was a whole that was on Bruno. But this one was the referee literally made something. You're not allowed to do that. The referee is not allowed to let them make substitutions. The only time you can is if it's the goalkeeper. If the goalkeeper's the one that's been sent off conceding the pen, then you're allowed to make one substitution, and it has to be another goalkeeper. But this one, the referee went, yeah, we got time, mates, come on. And then that makes more time because they then made 3 substitutions. So you've then got one, okay, change the numbers again, another, all right, change the numbers again, and then another one. That's why it took 5 minutes. And Bruno missed the pen, and it wasn't a good penalty.
That's what happens when a manager's a set-piece coach.
Yeah.
He knows all the tricks, keep injuries.
I don't know if you
but
was
regardless,
watching it on TV
I look at it and I just think that was insane.
Debate around whether the penalty kick should be taken again, because they seem to be suggesting that the keeper might have moved.
Well, I don't think he was off his line.
No, I don't think so. No.
But even then, I just feel like that. It's a big claim. But from actually when I'm watching games, at least United games, those series of events, those 5 minutes, I can't think of a bigger, just complete mess up from referees. I really, since VAR was introduced,
there's loads.
But those ones specifically, making all of those errors.
Can I make a point for Luis Diaz scoring a completely onside goal against Spurs, and then they just
was also a bad one.
Yeah.
But
the problem is, and I think the biggest point we're trying to make here is it's the consistency. Like you're saying about how he's not made a genuine attempt to win the ball. It's double jeopardy. He should have got a red card. But I remember David Luiz pulling a shirt against Chelsea and getting a red. I remember him running behind a Wolves player who accidentally clipped his heels, and they give him a straight red because he didn't make an attempt to win the ball.
Double yellow for was it Trossard or Martinelli?
So it's not even that they're making wrong decisions. It's that they know the rules, and then sometimes they apply it, sometimes they don't. It's inconsistent, and it's not like an Arsenal or United thing. Like it'll probably happen to us at some point where they then won't send off one of our players, and we'll be like, well, I can literally recall you doing this like last year. Yeah,
I feel that's where everyone's kind of connecting the dots, and we're like, hold on, but you gave a penalty similar to this last season, like João Pedro Saliba, and obviously then when you bring that to the table, that's when they knock it back and they say, oh no, it's a completely different situation, completely different. It doesn't matter. But that Nick Pope one for me personally was, they said about Nick Pope stopped. And because he stopped, that meant that he wasn't trying to cause a foul because he stood his ground.
That's okay then.
So it's Gyökeres, and I'm like, but why did the referee then stop the play then? We should have just carried on and let Saka just go around.
To me, Nick Pope's body language suggested to me that he was more than happy with the decision about the penalty. He was more worried.
He didn't even appeal it.
He was more worried that he was going to get sent off.
Yeah, I don't think Pope would be sent off there because he's trying to play the ball. So it would have been a yellow card and a penalty, which is the correct decision.
Exactly.
And then it just wasn't given.
But then that's what Qualms was saying about the João Pedro one. They said yesterday that it doesn't matter that Gyökeres got the ball first because like Pope still got a touch on the ball, and all the Arsenal fans were like, okay, well, what about when Pedro headed the ball, then Saliba headed the ball, and then they clashed heads and you gave a penalty? Like it didn't matter then. And it's like, so
there's so many things.
Just some consistency. Like Arsenal fans don't forget. Football fans don't forget. Like, we got screenshots from the 90s. We'll find when you've done this before.
Look at just quickly, sorry, the towel. You saw the towel yesterday. I was going crazy. I was like, what?
And then Palace's winner, they used the towel and it was fine.
No, but I think they called him on time wasting.
No, mate, that's not time wasting.
No, but I think that's why he wasn't allowed to use it. I think because I queried that as well.
He stole it because it was Nick Pope's from behind the goal when they robbed it. So I think they were just calling him like foul play, being like, don't go and nick the goalkeeper's thing. But the thing that annoys me is there's so many fans on social media, and I really want to clear this up.
Yeah, go on.
Saying You cannot use towels in the Premier League. It is a rule. You cannot do it. It's been banned. Like, Calafiori should be booked, and the Nketiah where he shouldn't stand. It's an EFL rule.
Yeah.
It stands in the Championship, League 1, League 2.
Yeah.
It's not a Premier League rule. You are allowed to use towels. So
It's ridiculous.
please stop tweeting about Calafiori using a towel being a disgrace of the rules, because it's not.
That was a bizarre
Thank
incident.
you.
Really bizarre. Yeah. Well said. Well said.
Have you got that out of the way now?
Yeah, well said, mate. That was well said.
Yeah, like, because there's been more as well. You've got like Salah's handball versus Crystal Palace. Like, how are you looking at that and going, nah, he's literally
His arm was up
his
there.
arm
You're
was
talking
up
about
there.
Gabriel's arm.
And also,
his arm was up
the
there. mate.
screenshot. I find it so funny because some of the screenshots are really grainy, so it looks really identical to Maradona's one from ages ago. You've got that, and you've got one that I think was another. Just I couldn't believe it was Josh King's disallowed goal.
Yeah, that for
Fulham
me,
against
that was
Chelsea.
the worst one of the season.
Where
to deny a kid a goal like that as well.
But also,
off
it
the
was
back
because
of that.
it was what? It was a foul because the Chelsea
cool.
player put
Was it Chalobah?
the
Chalobah,
Chalobah put their foot underneath the Fulham player.
Well, what
and
he
then
did, the
got-
Fulham player did a little pirouette, really lovely
Yeah.
bit of skill,
Yeah.
and he happened to step a little bit on.
But it wasn't even
It was
like he stepped on
unintentional.
someone else. It was like as his foot was coming down, Chalobah's
Yeah,
foot
yeah,
went
yeah.
here.
Yeah.
So Chalobah's foot wasn't even there when he started the move.
I know.
And he goes, no, foul, wrong.
Like, bring it back. Bring
And,
it all the way
and you know
back.
the really frustrating thing about that, and obviously
Never a
I'm not
foul.
a Fulham fan, is that he was I think he's 18 years
18
old.
years
isn't he?
old, yeah.
He scores a brilliant goal, the brilliant piece of skill, the pirouette,
Yeah.
the ball through to him, takes on the keeper, rounds him, bang. You think, wow, what a goal, great moment, and then they go and rule it out for that. I'm like, come on.
And then you've got like Eze's free kick against Chelsea's his last game for Crystal Palace.
Yeah, I remember
And it's
that.
because Gay was within a metre of the wall, and therefore
Yeah.
this and therefore that, and it's just like that's another example I think of. Even if it's in the rules, it's like that's not why the rule is there.
Mm.
Like, it's 93 centimetres instead of 1 metre. Disallowed. Shocking.
And people are finding screenshots of free kicks last season that Chelsea have scored and United have scored,
Yeah.
and there's people stood right next to the wall, and it's like,
Yeah.
we're not saying you should rule all these out as well. We're saying, wow, what great free kicks, nothing ruins that. But then you're just picking one out of nowhere and being like, well, we'll just allow that.
It's like
one.
the Prem-
You'll never see it again.
No,
It's
no,
like
that's
the,
it.
It's
That's
like the
it.
Premier League Premier League referees wake up and just happen to remember on the day that one of them is a rule, and then they forget all the other days.
Or
You know
you,
what I
do,
mean?
or you just get over officious referee, like what we saw yesterday with the towel thing. You think,
Yeah.
you've got far better things to
get a
worry
grip.
about than bloody towels. Everybody, even Newcastle fans, were like, what are we doing?
Yeah. But the overall point I want to make, and I think, is that I genuinely think that refereeing, due to kind of all these new added rules and they keep piling on things each season when new things happen, that I think the refereeing standards, both through the fault of the referees, but also the people around creating the rules and all of this, the standards just dropping. It's getting worse. I genuinely
I
think
think there could be some truth to it. However, I would like to make the case, not so much for a referee, more in the interest of being balanced, is that the scrutiny on referees and decisions these days, because it's such a high stakes game, especially Premier League football, the scrutiny that the decisions get is, beyond anything that we've ever seen before. So if you look at something 10 times, a lot of times you will find something and you think, hang on, why didn't this happen? Why didn't that happen? And then the second thing I would say is that, and this is through my personal experience, I've actually refereed games, a couple of games on Hackney Marshes.
I knew it.
And I will tell you this, man, that refereeing has got to be one of the hardest things in football, man, trust me. Because every decision that you give
It will be challenged.
will be challenging. And you think to myself, when I did it,
Yeah, I bet you
thought
enjoyed it.
I had a newfound respect for referees. I thought, wow. And this is like Hackney Marshes
Yeah.
in a
It's a
game
tough
that means
place.
nothing, let alone when you get to high stakes professional football.
I feel like people are scrutinising the referees and VAR or the referees especially, is because everyone else, the managers, the players, have to come out after the game and explain certain things or moments that have happened in the game. With refs, it's like they make continuous bad decisions, and then it's like, okay, they go back into the little holes or into the little group, and then they cover up everything. Even with like how the audio is released, It's always released like 24 hours after the game.
Yeah.
Who knows? And
Stuff
this-
that gets slowed down always looks like a foul when in
Corruption.
reality,
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
How do you know it's not being edited? How do you know that things ain't being taken out? No, it's true.
It's a
true.
conspiracy.
It's true. Look at all the sports. There's
No,
always
he was giving it the conspiracy yesterday.
I'm telling you, mate.
Oh,
There
that
was
was
that,
to
there was that
Arsenal.
picture, people. There was a picture on Twitter that's going around, or X, where I think the referee was the VAR. He was looking at the screen, and below it on the board, it had corruption. I said, "Look at that. That is. You'll look for it and see. I'll try and find it whilst we're talking. But yeah, it's perfect.
I don't think that there's. I know obviously people like scream corruption and like being.
No,
like,
I'm not having that.
I think it's just incompetency.
Yes.
It's incompetency, but also I think the referees are at times making bad decisions, but are also at the same time being screwed over by all the little nuances and everything. Because when like you said earlier about VAR, you'd want to keep VAR.
I do,
When
yeah.
we introduced VAR, it was because there were decisions being made. It's like, well, that's an obvious handball. That's a clear offside. That's a this. We didn't bring VAR in to spend 5 minutes like going frame by frame by frame
Yeah,
by
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But it's now they've gone. Might not be a clear and obvious error, but maybe I'll look into it a bit more. And then they're looking at what they think. They might be on it, right?
Oh, yeah.
They've got the forwards, backwards, the zoom and everything. And they might be looking at it for like what they think might just be 10 seconds. But it's actually like for everyone who's just sat there waiting, it's like 2.5 minutes. Like, and so the time that for them, they're just like busy looking at all this stuff. And I think it will get better in terms of the timing once semi-auto offsides come in. So that's, I think it was the original report is due to come in like mid-November.
I thought it was already in.
It's not in yet.
It's
no.
like half in because we're getting the replay, the semi-automated offside replays.
No, but we're not getting the actual the fast
full
decisions
tech,
yet.
yeah.
So I think the full tech will come in. I believe comments. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I remember, I believe it was around November or towards the new year is when that will be then coming in. So then there's obviously the whole argument of you've got one set of things for one and one like
For the
one set of tech for the first half of the season, one set of tech for the second half of the season. But
And we also have to
it will
take
come
into
into that will come
consideration
better.
that,
But in general, I just think just the decisions being made are both being screwed. That is incredible. That can't be real.
That's real.
That's real.
It is corruption.
What photo that is.
Unless
I think it's also fair
Yeah.
to take on board as well, and it has been statistically proven that VAR do get the vast majority of decisions correct. So we do need to take that on board as well. So when people say that VAR is ruining the game, it's not really, because they are getting because they're getting
got a show on
the stats
VAR.
show the stats show that they're getting by far the majority of the decisions correct. So really, that in itself tells you they can't be ruining the game.
But is that the decisions including like when they don't do anything? Like if they check the referee's decision and the referee's decision is correct, and they're basically just going, yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm only going by the stats.
because most decisions that referees make are at the same time also correct. Like
the one yesterday. The referee to everybody apart
for the
from Jay
penalty?
Hart.
Yeah.
Everyone
Penalty,
apart
yeah,
from
yeah.
Joe Hart. The referee got that right.
And
Yet
it's
still
the way they
VAR.
word it in VAR as well. It's like, we'd like you to go and have a look because
Yeah,
we've
yeah.
slowed it down, and from this angle, we don't think it's a penalty. And then you
you're
go over,
slowly
and your
guiding
mindset
it.
is like, right, I'm going to look for something now
Yeah.
because they've told me it's probably not. And then,
at least you just say we think you should have a second look and maybe just leave it at that at least.
unless it is clear and obvious, and they're like, look, he clearly wins the ball first. Like, go and have a look. We'll show you. But you can just be
Yeah.
like,
It's not clear and
dubious.
obvious.
Do you want to go and have a look? Like,
Yeah.
we'll play it on the screen for you. And he goes, yeah, let me. Oh no, I think that's a penalty. But they're not. They're giving it the whole. Well, we've had a look,
Yeah.
and we think with our
you
slow
look at this
motion
angle-
cameras that.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, they have to report back to these people. They get assessed and stuff. So if you've gone against VAR and let something stand or disallowed something, and then that's seen as material to how the game finished, I would imagine your bosses. What's the guy's name?
Is it Howard Webb?
Howard Webb.
Howard
Or
Webb.
that. He's not going to be happy. You probably lose your
You shouldn't
next
be happy with the
10
direction
assignments.
going on now.
He's going to be issuing.
Did you see
2 or 3?
Clattenburg's tweet?
No, what was it?
He tweeted in like full. I think it's Clattenburg. He tweeted, Howard Webb needs to resign and admit that his PGMOL was like an absolute failure or like whatever he's doing. I think it
when
was.
you got ex-refs coming out and doing that.
No, but what's
I
his
don't know what he
motive
does
for
now.
doing that, though, Clattenburg?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and so Clattenburg tweeted yesterday saying, another match where we are discussing the standards of refereeing in the Premier League. Time for Webb to accept his has failed. Damn, that's a bit damning.
I just wonder where the motivation for that comment
And then his
is coming
tweet before
from.
that is questioning VAR as well. I'm guessing
Football is
Justice.
finished if that's a foul. Hashtag Fulham Brentford. It's the 20th of September. I'm not sure what happened 9 days ago.
I think the worst one I've seen now was the Fulham Chelsea one when that guy scores that brilliant goal. And
Yeah, it's just-
and they took 10 minutes as well
To look at it.
and rule it
frame
out
by frame.
on account of the guy doing a brilliant pirouette and part of his leg, which he did touch Chalobah, but like you said, it was in the course of him.
Yeah,
winning,
and he was
wasn't
looking that way, and it happened over here. Like,
And Chalobah just did that usual thing. He just stayed on the floor. Probably heard the roar of the crowd and thought, oh, you know what? Let me stay down on the floor, pretend I'm hurt.
It did. To
And
be
then-
fair, it did give me about 7 points in FPL. So.
Get that clean sheet bonus.
Yeah. But moving on, we've also had obviously the news in since the weekend, since we last filmed, that Graham Potter's gone. And Laurie, I know you're not too happy
The
with the
memes,
way
the face swaps.
with the way that it happened. The face swaps I thought were fantastic. I thought it was so.
Let me just qualify by saying I do agree with the decision.
Yeah, but it's the way they
it's
went
the
about
way
it was-
West Ham went
They let him
about
have
it.
the press conference. He faced the questions. Then they sacked him on the Saturday morning,
Yeah.
and then announced a new coach by the afternoon.
Because I saw the interview that he gave on the Saturday, and then the announcement was like about half an hour later. I'm like, how does that work?
Yeah.
And he was in that interview as well. He was being asked about, how do you think about the pressure being applied for you, the calls for you to be sacked? And so he was saying, I don't really worry about that. I just focus on the job. And then within an hour of that being released, the man got sacked. I just thought, nah, come on, bro.
But that's how
you
cutthroat
knew you were
this
going to
game
sack
is.
him. Just sack him like.
What do
And
you-
not only that, the other thing I wanted to add on that as well, Dylan, is that, and we saw this, that West Ham pretty much made it known that they said, we're actively looking at managers. I'm like, well, sack the man then. Like, you know what I mean? Why are you leaving him in situ and at the same time you're releasing to the press that you've approached other managers? I just thought that was poor.
Do you think they should have, in this case, so I think what it would be is they reached an agreement with Nuno, and as soon as they actually reached that verbal agreement, they went, right, you're gone.
They've terminated
But do you think
it.
maybe they should have,
I don't think they should have publicised it as well.
that they should have left, given him
The fact that they
given him the match?
publicised the fact that they were actively approaching other managers, I thought that was poor.
But you can still see.
They didn't need to. No, they
Well, to be
could do
fair-
that, but I'm saying it would be right for them to do that. You got to do your due diligence,
Of course.
but you don't need to announce it to the rest of the world. You do that on the quiet, make your decision, boom, 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 done. But you're letting it known to everybody out there that you're actively looking at
Why do you
replacing him. I
Do you
just thought
think
that
that
was
they
poor.
actually released that though, or that
Yeah,
came out
it came
via
out.
back channels? Because
That's what I mean.
sometimes stuff
Well-
comes out that clubs don't necessarily want to be coming out.
Well, it was an unfortunate leak then.
Yeah, but either way, yeah, I think it's like finding other managers while he's still in the job, and then giving him the press conference, and then sacking him on because they wouldn't have sacked him if the game was on Saturday or Sunday. But I think they sacked him because the game's on Monday, so that Nuno was able to take one training session. It's almost as if agree with Nuno, but let Nuno come in on the Tuesday. So let that game happen, and maybe they just thought, okay, we can. Like,
When was their last game? The
their West Ham's last game?
Was it losing to Spurs, or was that the week before?
No, it was. That was a week before.
Matches. It was losing to Palace.
Right.
Yeah.
So when was that?
By all accounts, they actually played pretty well that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but by
that
then-
was a banger, and they
So-
conceded from another corner.
So when was that? When was that game?
That was last Saturday.
Right. So by the Monday, they should have sacked him, if that's what they wanted to
They
do.
just sacked him, and then it's just that does make sense as well.
Yeah.
because
So then you've got,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
just thought the whole timing was bizarre.
I feel like they've probably tried to wait to the international break, because obviously we've got games this weekend, and then be like, we've now got a 2-week period
Yeah.
to give Nuno some training sessions, because respectfully, not a lot of our players are on international duty because they're not at that level right now. And then, then you've got time to bed a new manager in, and for whatever reason, they've decided on Friday that it's either become untenable, or Nuno wants the job now. He doesn't want to wait to the international break.
he doesn't want to wait 3 days. Well, because even if it's not the
No,
international
but
break,
I
he just has-
Maybe
said,
he doesn't.
why wouldn't they give Potter Everton, see if it gets any better, and then give him the Arsenal game as a free hit? Like, you're going to get battered anyway, and then make the change international break.
But surely you should, even in that case, wouldn't you rather give that free hit to Nuno?
Possibly.
Because if he had lost to Everton, right, he's and you can't then call Arsenal a free hit, because I think then if he wins the game, doesn't change anyone's mind because it was a free hit. Like, at least, like, it's away against Everton. Like, Nuno's taking one training session, then going up with the lads, and then going to there and then going back again. I don't know. I just felt like Potter got sacked on Saturday because the scheduling had West Ham on Monday.
You could see it coming though. I think everyone's like shocked and they're saying, "Oh, woe is him," but I'm pretty sure he was, like we were saying about Amrin, he's a dead man walking.
No, we're not saying that the decision is wrong. I think most people would agree
the
that
timing
Potter,
of it.
it's the timing and the way it was done. It's not very classy.
That's how cutthroat it is now.
I know, but it doesn't make it right.
If that's how cutthroat it is, why didn't you do it on Monday instead of Friday, Saturday?
Exactly.
Maybe there was a
That's 6
conversation
days.
that was had and they didn't like it.
Especially when Karen Brady had been on the record as saying, "Oh no, Graham Potter, he's a much loved figure. We stand behind our."
He's a nice
she made
guy.
all that
And then
song
when
and
he's
He's a
dance.
nice guy.
Got rid of
But
him.
nice guys don't win things, and they, do you know what I mean? That's why they were just like, you know what?
Nice guys have win rates in the 20s.
Yeah.
But,
Well, they had somebody that won something, and guess what they did? They
rid of
sacked
him.
him.
Got rid of him.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I got one super chat here from AJ saying, refs are corrupt, lads. The fact that Doku's
Yep.
karate kick is the pick used to define a high foot challenge shows how corrupt they are. If that challenge was given as a pen, Arsenal would have won the Premier League in 2023-24.
Good point.
In all fairness, that is true. But
Yeah.
I don't go along with that conspiracy.
I don't think that
theory
Man
nonsense.
City were giving him an extra, didn't just text him. When you know on the watch that they've
Yeah,
got
yeah.
that says goal and no goal, it came up Man City plus 5,000.
No, it's not corrupt, but I get his point. As if you go on the Premier League website and look at the rules under the high foot challenge tab, there's a photo of Doku kicking McAllister in the chest, but that's a penalty that they didn't give.
Yeah, that's mental. That's why I mean. I just think it's I don't think it's corruption. I think it's
Not
incompetence.
only that, how many refereeing decisions are material to the actual outcome of a game?
Loads
So,
of
for
it,
example,
yeah.
even though the referee got that one wrong yesterday because he was led by VAR, ultimately Arsenal won the game. And as an Arsenal fan, I can honestly say that we were the beneficiary of a couple of decisions in that game that helped us. So, for example, I would argue
Gabriel's lucky.
he could have been sent off, no problem.
I think there's.
But then Joe
there was
Linton could have
genuine
got.
ground.
Joe Linton could have
Yeah,
got sent
but that's
off,
what I'm
wasn't
saying. So, on both teams would have cause to be upset about the referee, and so I don't think. In other words, what I'm saying is the referee wasn't the material factor in Arsenal winning that game yesterday,
But there are plenty of games where I think they make decisions.
and it wasn't
which
material
completely
factor in
change.
you losing
Thank you.
on
No, that's true.
But-
Saturday either.
I think if that penalty stuff hadn't taken, I do wholeheartedly believe if that penalty drama hadn't taken 5 minutes, I think Bruno does score that penalty. It's then 2-2. They've got 10 men. Even if Bruno doesn't score the penalty, it should have been a red card. Brentford should be 2-1 up with half an hour to go with 10 men. That changes that whole game completely because it was a red. We all agree. We sat here agree. Nathan Collins should have been sent off. There is no debate about that. That's then 2-1 with half an hour to play.
I would argue
That's
that you're so
different.
bad these days. They probably would have won anyway.
Maybe I can't stand here and say that we definitely would have won.
No, but,
I would
you know.
tell. But I'm saying that if that whole deal hadn't taken the 2, 3, 5 minutes that it did,
I mean, Bruno,
Whole game's
he was there moaning the
Whole
other
game's
day
different.
because the referee disrespected him.
yeah, that
because
was
he
ridiculous.
bumped into him and he
That is
didn't say
ridiculous.
sorry.
I've scolded Bruno enough.
He
for that one.
used that as an excuse for missing a penalty the other day.
That's a-
Now here we are with another excuse for him missing a penalty. Maybe he's just not good at taking penalties anymore.
Yeah,
Maybe
Yeah, well, he's
United need
missed
to
2 of
get
his last 3, but then those 2 penalties have been when he's had about 5 minutes. I'd love to see what just in general. I know it's
time.
almost impossible to check, but yeah, what's the penalty shootout, like the penalty scoring record of like the penalties taken being within 2 minutes and being over 2 minutes? I'd love to see if there was a statistical significant difference in that. I think there might be, but obviously, but
that's
I don't.
why I like it when someone else takes the ball and just takes the pressure off them, and then when it's finally given, then they give it
hand
to
it
the
back
pen
to
City
taker.
do that
And
all
you-
the time.
We do it.
You do it a lot as well.
Yeah.
But the advantage with us is that you don't know who's taking our penalties. Like if Saka grabs the ball and gives it to Odegaard or gives it to Gyökeres, you expect it, but with you know it's going to be Bruno.
Yeah.
So even if
There's no change.
if Mbeumo picks up the ball, 99% he's probably going to give it to Bruno at some point. But at least we have that sort of, you're not quite sure who's
Not
going to
quite
take
sure.
it. Like we
True.
can
We
actually,
have-
we can sell the
We have
dummy
credible
genuinely.
options.
Yeah. There is another nice comment here, which I'm going to read out because it's about me.
Oh,
It says, ENK Entertainment House says, this presenter is probably the best DR Sports presenter right now. Very competent. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Let me check your WhatsApp, see if you've messaged him.
Nah, he's good.
No,
He's
it's
very, very
just the DR group chats on my WhatsApp, actually. But,
You should thank your girlfriend when you get in.
she's not real. We talk about, obviously, Graham Potter getting sacked. His 26% win rate.
Is that higher than your manager, by the way?
No, because Ruben Amorim's is 27%.
Oh, that's all right then.
Which is
maybe you need to start face swapping him onto everyone, and that'll get him sacked.
Oh, it's happening.
Maybe that's it. Maybe
it's all,
you need to Amorim
all
face
over my
swap.
timeline at the
But
moment.
we spoke, didn't we, off air about a very credible theory as to why he's still in a job.
Yeah, so
Tell the people.
So this is what
Get your tinfoil hats on.
it's not even necessarily a credible theory, because there are people, like reporters have met, like Ben Jacobs has mentioned it. Ruben Amorim has a clause in his contract where we pay him £12 million if we sack him within the first year of his contract.
Right.
His contract start date is November the 1st.
Okay.
So if we sack him before November 1st, it's a £12 million payout.
Is that
If
like
he's
on
sacked-
top of his contract payout?
No, that I think it's
Oh,
just a flat
okay.
12 million quid if he goes in his first year.
Okay.
And then I think it then drops, I don't know how significantly, but I think it is a fairly significant drop once that first thing is hit. And when you look at the fixture schedule, we've got Sunderland at home on Saturday,
Sunderland stuff.
then the international break, then Liverpool away,
Yeah.
and then on November 1st is Forest away. So on the day that his stuff drops, it's we're playing Nottingham Forest away at, I think it's 3
Well, you know
3 p.m.
what?
kickoff.
If Ange carries on the way he's going, he might be out there
That might
by
be
then as well.
that might be our Saki out.
you reckon that game ends up a 0-0 draw? Both managers get
Because did
sacked.
you hear that Ange team got booed off, didn't they? And already some of the Forest
Did
fans
they?
are calling for his head.
They haven't won.
I think he's now the longest it's taken a Forest manager to win their first game. They
Can you
were
imagine
saying
that?
since the 1800s.
And I was
imagine
He's not
listening
won
to
his
the
first
phone-ins
5.
on Saturday, and there was more than one caller that was saying, "Look,
He needs to go.
cut ties now,
Yeah,
get
so,
rid of it
so,
now."
So 5 games and just done 3-0 loss to Forest, 3-2 loss to Swansea, 1-1 draw versus Burnley, 2-2 draw versus Betis, and 1-0 draw versus Sunderland.
And they were booed off.
Just
Damn.
depends.
By the fans.
So they
Marinakis,
lost to Sunderland. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
how long Marinakis wants to put up with Ange, because sooner or later he's got to win games. It's not about obviously stamping his style. He has to get a result, or else the type of manner of this man Marinakis, he might just say, you know what?
It could be that Greek tax that's keeping him in the
They
job.
don't
Yeah,
don't
they're
have the
mates.
easiest run either. So yeah, 1-0 loss.
That
not
Greek
1-0.
brotherhood might be keeping him in the job.
They've got Midtjylland at home, Newcastle away, Chelsea at home, Porto at home, Bournemouth away, United at home,
Oh,
and then
that
Sturm
is-
goes. That is a rough run as
that
well.
is
To go into that winless in your entire Forest career,
Tough
well, in
games.
last 5 games, entire Forest career.
Out of the ones
Crazy.
you read out there, there's no like you know,
The,
games. where you could-
the next one, the
next
easiest
one.
one is the next
The
one.
next
It's
one,
Forest at home versus Midtjylland.
yeah,
Purely just because Forest are obviously clearly superior side on paper.
yeah.
But yeah, ooh.
Yeah, it looks,
I didn't realise how bad it was for Ange.
Yeah,
it's not
been great.
looking good, man.
Especially the Swansea one, because his whole thing was like, "I'll win you a trophy." They're 2-1. They're not that. Yeah, but they're 2-1 up. They concede in the 95th and like the 97th
What,
minute or
some
something.
great
Like,
goals,
they
man,
were
some
minutes
great
away from
goals.
going through, and then
Yeah.
you can ship 2. Like they completely threw it away.
Yeah.
But is anyone like me though? Apart from the obvious Greek connection, why did he get the job though? Because
because Ange Posco
The obvious Greek connection. There's
because
photos of him with
look what he did with
Marinakis in
Tottenham.
a swimming pool.
I know.
I know he won the
Marinakis
Europa
is
League,
looking
but
at
come
the shiny
on,
new
let's look
object,
at his
isn't he? He's looking at the trophy that he brought
who
in.
else was available they could realistically get? Southgate,
Jose Mourinho.
Jose Mourinho.
Yeah, Jose would have been a good shot. I
Mm.
did mention Jose for that.
I think it's because he's. I think Marinakis doesn't like someone that's going to challenge him, and Nuno did that towards the end. I wasn't happy with the signings, whereas because he's kind of mates with Ange, it's not like a yes man, but they're kind
Yeah,
of like
it's
they're
the
going to
next
work
best
together.
More
and they're
hopefully
gonna-
harmonious.
It's going to be more. Like, he's not going to be like, I don't like the signings. He's going to be like, that's all right, mate.
Yeah,
Let's see where we are,
he
mate.
hasn't got he hasn't got much time.
Still we are.
When you look at those fixtures,
Yeah.
he hasn't got much time. You know.
Yeah, I don't think Amorim's got much time either.
I think,
I really, really don't. I
don't think I've spoken
Should do
to
a
a
poll,
single United fan or even seen one online that wants him to stay.
Yeah, because
He's
you know
that
what I'm really
unpopular.
surprised about, and the reports came out recently about this in the last few days, is United players themselves
Kinda give
are surprised about how quickly it's just gone mad, just gone ridiculous.
Horribly wrong.
And I really do think, previously, under previous regimes, you've got, you look at why United's ended up failing, why managers didn't work out, and for a fair amount of time you can go, the players stopped playing for the manager, and the players, it was like you could, like, for a fair amount, as much as some managers have their faults, you go also the players like lost belief, the players stopped playing. I might be like slightly controversial. I don't think that's happening in this situation.
No.
I don't think these players are throwing the towel in, or what are the other normal phrases you've got? You've got throw the towel in.
Just like not playing for the manager.
He's
lost the dressing room.
Lost the dressing room, etc. I genuinely don't think that's happening. I just think all
You've
these
got to find the dressing room before you can lose it.
Yeah, I think all these players are being platformed horribly. Like they're not being used properly.
Mind you, he made an interesting comment, didn't he, after the Grimsby game, when he made that very ambiguous comment. He said, the players said a lot today. And then when he was pressed, he said, no, it's obvious. The players spoke volumes today or something like that.
Yeah.
And everybody took that to mean that.
And then a few days later, he was then asked about it at his press conference, and Ruben Amorim basically just went, "Yeah, sorry, I was being a bit emotional."
And there's been a few times where he's made comments like that, isn't it?
Yeah, he does it too often. I really liked when he came in, he was dead honest.
Yeah.
He was so honest. He was saying, there's things we need to fix.
Yeah.
I can't promise anything, but I'm going to try, and we're going to do this. But now...
The storm is coming.
Yeah. And he was right.
The good times will return.
Yeah.
The storm is coming to Old Trafford.
But didn't he at one time say, look, you can let me go now. I won't even ask for no compensation.
I looked at that, I was like, that's a lie. That's just not true.
One thing I really want to get United fans' opinion on is his penalty thing. I know it's a small detail, but at Grimsby when he sat in the dugout not watching, I was like, it's not that deep. But then I'm thinking, Bruno Fernandes, pressure penalty to get you back in the game. He stood there, he turns around and his manager's like that. If I'm already a little bit nervous about taking an important penalty, I'm looking at him and being like,
the one against Burnley. Burnley, he was sat like this.
Yeah.
Just looking the other way.
They made so many memes of that one as well.
At the same time as well, Jurgen Klopp never used to watch them. He'd stand up and he'd turn around, but that's because he said because I wanted to watch the crowd. Yeah, and I think that's the case of
he's not sat with his head in his hands in the dugout. He's facing the other way.
The dugout, or just like, and also Amorim did it for the shootout as well.
Yeah, Grimsby.
Amorim was sat there, and so when you've got Mbumo, he misses that pen, looks around, and he's not the manager's not there, and it's Bruno. Some things about Amorim, I think he really needs to learn.
Yeah,
he really needs to learn. And I don't think he's actually a horrible coach. He's just got... Well, so for example, you compare him to Glasner. Glasner's 11 years older than him. A lot of these managers who are being compared to... Iraola is 5 years. I think Iraola's 44.
How old is Amorim?
40.
40.
I just think that the job is too big for him, to be honest.
The job's too big for him now. I do think he will still become a good manager.
Yeah, I believe
He's got the right personality for it. Players buy into... I've not seen players buy into a manager as much as they bought into Amorim. Since I've been at United. I really think they do.
I think they've gone all in. But
they really have, which is why I don't think that they're not playing.
You know what the problem with him is?
I just don't
one
think
word.
that he can platform them.
One word, and I know you're always digging me out on my vocabulary. Intransigence.
I'm going to need to Google
it. Stubbornness, basically. This, I'm playing free at the back. I'm not going to change.
Unwilling or refusing to change one's views or to
intransigence. This,
I agree.
Even if the Pope came down and told me all that the minute you hear a manager say all that, I'm thinking you're gone. Because if you can't see what the problem
is, he's stuck in his ways.
But
you're not going to do anything.
You're losing to Grimsby. You desperately need to get back in the game. And you put Mason Mount at left wing back.
He did it yesterday as well.
I think it's like 43 of his 47 games he's subbed centre back for centre back in the middle of the game.
41 of 47.
And what's the definition of insanity, according to Einstein?
Well, doing the same thing over
doing the same thing over and again.
What is Lenny Yoro coming on in the 70th minute going to do when you're chasing a game? I get how Harry Maguire sometimes might get you something, but when you're doing centre back for centre back, what is the point?
It doesn't settle. And when you talk about the Mason Mount thing, I think to add to that as well, he brought Mount on yesterday with I don't know how long it was to go, but then Mount was playing in the left 10 for a bit, and then he brought Xerxes on and then moves Mount to wing back 4 minutes later, and I'm like, why didn't you do that at the same time? At least start if Mount's going to be playing wing back, do it at the same time as bringing Xerxes on. Don't wait 4 minutes.
Could I ask you a quick question? And you don't need to go into this.
You've got
that.
He's got that smile.
No, it's just because I had a little conversation with Flex. The reason why I'm asking you this very quick question is I had a little conversation with Flex today and he surprised me. But anyway, so we all taking it as read that sooner or later Amorim's going to go. My question to you is, you're linked with Southgate. Do you want him?
Get the waistcoat.
Get him in. Get him in, mate.
Because you're being heavily linked with him.
Not over other options.
Right.
What would be?
Because surprisingly, Flex said he'd take him.
So with Southgate, I think what he was so good at is with England, he completely and utterly transformed England football team. Completely, entirely, almost on every single level. It went from just pure hatred and everything like disjointedness to he created a genuinely, to so much to his credit, really harmonious dressing room.
That's true.
Yeah.
Right from the top all the way down, the right coaches, training right, coaching right, but then he couldn't take the leap. And I've said this so many times, there's so many managers who can get you to that certain point and then can't take the leap
What you mean,
to the top. He couldn't do it with England.
I think he'd be an amazing if you sacked Amram in like January and just wrote off the season because you were out of the FA Cup, out of the Carabao, and like not going to get top 4. He'd be an amazing interim. Just like win the squad over, get everyone back together.
Yeah,
and
then hand it
in
over.
the summer, if you've done amazing, like more than we expected, then you get the job. If not, then it was always going to be 6 months. So everyone was just behind you for that.
But Southgate has a really poor rep. Right, because ultimately he got England to finals and bottled. He'd make weird decisions in the last minute, and you go, right, well, you lost us the game there.
Like going 1-0 up against Italy and going on the defence.
Yeah, like subbing off Harry Kane when you need a goal.
I think Southgate does deserve credit for how he's managed to turn England around, because England was toxic. It's been toxic for
that
years.
is true.
That's what he did well, but I don't think necessarily he is the best option when there are other people out there. So what I wouldn't mind, what I like, and I know this is a bit left field, I wouldn't mind if we're going interim route, I would want to pick Michael Carrick. I think Michael Carrick's a good coach, and when Solskjaer was doing very well, it was Michael Carrick who was actually on the training pitch. Solskjaer spent a lot of time in his office. On the training pitch, it was Kieran McKenna and Michael Carrick, two managers who in the Championship did really, really well. Michael Carrick obviously ended up getting sacked from Middlesbrough, but he had a couple of really good seasons with Middlesbrough, but he stabilised.
Although Kieran McKenna in the Premier League.
Kieran McKenna is like, 36, 37.
I think a lot of that was the whole, like, let me stick to my principles and play good football.
Yeah.
Like, we'll get relegated, but my stock's higher, because it's like, Ipswich played good football, but they got relegated.
And where else are
we
we seeing that as well? Up north with Russell Martin, another one. Took's a good one, but I'm sticking to my values.
But the way I see it is, if we're going that route, I would like Carrick, because also it's the case of he's got the guarantees of respect within the club. He already knows everyone, this and that, and he can galvanise us for a bit, and then you use that time during the summer to then go and find someone permanent to lay the groundwork there.
What's Ruud
such a big time.
Ruud?
Yeah, where's Ruud now?
He's not got a job since.
It's a big job though. I think as much as I hear what you're saying with Carrick. Or Michael Carrick.
I said interim. Only as interim. And then use that time to find someone.
Yeah, but how long is interim?
How long would that be?
Until the end of the season. Or until you can, or you might...
No, I don't think you'd take that, to be honest.
Or you might decide... you bring him in as interim, and then in the new year you go, all right, Xavi, or Iraola come in, or someone like, or maybe
that's who I think you should.
I don't think many managers will look at it and say, yeah, I want that job. No,
I think Iraola would. I think Iraola would.
Yes, they would.
I think
loads of managers will still want this United job.
You have the advantage of the only way is up. Like, even if I come in and get United to finish 9th, I've done better.
Yeah, man, just get top off.
Like, unless I get them relegated,
you're sorted.
Unless I relegate Man United, I can't be worse than what you've already got.
It really is.
I think Iraola would be a good fit.
I think Iraola would be great. I really wouldn't mind Xavi as well. I know there's a bit like his football is a little more like Eric Ten Hag's, but in terms of a guy who gets it, I think players who played at Barcelona during that period, like under Pep and co, I think they get what Man United should.
I'll tell you what though, if you're looking for a transition, someone to keep you up, maybe give Sean Dyche a call.
No, he can't do that, man.
He'd do better.
No, he can't do that.
He did say he would.
He did say that.
I've got no hesitation in believing that.
We might be 14th, 15th, but I don't want to act like
he's not going to have the Monclesi
target man. Have you seen how high you jump?
To be fair, I mean, Sheshko's bagging 20 then if we get Sean Dyche.
Dwight and McNeil left wing with Sesko up top could be disgusting.
Oh my god!
You might have to downgrade the swag. He's not going to have the Moncler and all that type of stuff.
I'll take 3
but
points.
He will keep you up.
I take 3 points over a Moncler puffer.
Let Mason Mount grow his hair out. He's got the Beckham 7, getting him whipping balls into Sesko and Xerxes.
Well, I'm just thinking Sean Dyche and giving him and Bumo.
Oh my gosh.
Bumo would cook now, but I think I just like there are many routes to go down, and realistically, I think as you said, most ways are up. The
only way down is the Championship.
Yeah, which is wrong. That'd be rough.
That'd be
so new stadium in that circus tent in the Championship.
Well, apparently they might not be building a circus tent because they might not get a planning permission. That's a whole other thing. But yeah, I just think Amram's time come November. I think he's done. I really do, unless something insane happens, which it could, because he's got a couple of changes he could make, but it won't, because he won't make those changes. That's where I think it's going with this. Which is why I still think in future
I don't think he lasts the season.
He won't last.
I don't think so.
He'll be gone by Christmas.
At what point does it become untenable? Because you're not in a relegation battle right now. You're already out the Carabao. You're not in Europe. Like, when does it hit the point where it's like it actually can't continue?
Rock bottom. What's rock bottom?
When it gets smoked by
soon
Liverpool.
as it becomes a cheaper option.
Yeah, I think it's that Liverpool.
It could be that Liverpool game.
Yeah, so
could be the
Liverpool
one.
sack our managers every
But weirdly,
every manager gets sacked
Amram's the
for
type of
Liverpool.
manager that goes and gets a draw there.
Yeah, that's true.
I know.
Like big,
Yeah.
big
We got
games,
a draw
he's
there
walked
last
away
season.
with.
I think if you get embarrassed by
We
Liverpool,
said that was how it was last season. The big games.
I think if you go to where is that game? Is it at
Anfield.
So it's at
You played well
Anfield.
against us.
But it's still, we lost against you, lost against City, beat a 10-man Chelsea, but ultimately once it was 10v10, it was 1-0 to Chelsea. I don't think we're going to go to Liverpool this time and get the result we were going to
If
get.
you
last
play
time.
Liverpool on that Super Sunday and you get smoked,
But even Sunderland is difficult for United.
Yeah.
Sunderland at home.
Yeah, I mean, you got Sunderland and Palace. I mean, big shout out, especially to Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Big shout out to, obviously, big shout out to Crystal Palace for beating Liverpool. Big one.
shout out to Eddie
Big up.
Nketiah.
Big up. Yeah, and Nketiah and everything.
Wait, I'm just thinking, Granit Xhaka might be the best player on the pitch.
No, that's stop baiting.
Who?
Man.
So-
What?
Who?
I'm putting Mo, Cunha, and a couple of others
Yeah,
ahead
okay,
of him.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Granit Xhaka is not the best player on that football
Watch
pitch.
him have a blinder as well. He's going to have a
Yeah.
blinder.
Oh no! I'll tell you what he is doing. He's scoring from 30 yards.
Yeah.
It's Granit Xhaka. I remember at Arsenal days, he scored 2 or 3 against us from 30 yards. He's definitely doing that.
Yeah.
But no, I think just the final touch on when big shout out especially to Crystal Palace,
Yeah.
because I think what Glasner is
Remarkable.
doing there.
No,
is
you haven't spoken about Glasner.
stunning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
I-
beaten in 18 in all comps now.
I
And that's got Liverpool
can't lie.
3 times in there.
In terms of
ridiculous.
hiring a manager, this might then be another bit of a controversial thing. I think hiring Glasner for United is a bit of a lazy pick,
Why?
because I don't think he's doing so well at Palace. And
No,
I
but
just
surely if
think
he was
wouldn't
given
do
the
same at
opportunity to
United.
manage Man United, he wouldn't turn that down.
Oh, no,
Because you
he's-
got to remember as well,
no.
he almost
It's a lazy
left
pick
Palace.
on our end.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is he almost left Palace. If the rumours are to be believed,
He
he
almost left it, they
basically
gave
went
him.
in there and gave him
Yeah.
an ultimatum. If
Or
you
with
sell
the whole
Gay,
Eze.
I'm out.
The Mark
Gay
Gay
thing. Yeah.
I mean, in terms of, I think everyone going, Glasner's the guy for United. I think that's a little too 1+1.
But do you
I
not
don't
think it makes a lot of
necessarily think
sense in the fact that he plays the same formation as Amorim, but his system works? So if
Yeah,
you,
but
if you
I
gave
don't-
like, the players that you've bought for Amorim's formation and system,
I
you could
don't
probably
think
tweak
we
that
should go
without
for another manager
wholesaling
who's
it.
going to play 3 at the back, though. I think if Glasner was to change, and because I think Glasner's before has said back 3 isn't necessarily what he does. Why, like his favourite formation? I think he said his favourite might be 4-3-3 or 4-4-2. But he's a manager who he said so many times he will just work out what's best for the squad and then go with that. That's why Palace are so good.
Yeah.
They've lost Eze and they
Yeah.
look better.
Well, he's probably looked at,
yeah.
he's come in, he's looked at Munoz and that lot and been like, "You're not a right back, you're a wing back. Like you're not."
Yeah,
defensive.
exactly.
So let me play
So
a back
if-
5,
Yeah.
get the best
If
out
he
of
was
you.
to
I've
do
got.
that, I would like it because I think he's a hell of a guy. He gets players behind him. He's also, I think, fairly interesting bloke as well, and he's got. I wouldn't say he's got an ego, but he's got an aura of confidence around him. With the whole with the Liverpool thing, it's like play that way again, we'll beat you, and then they beat him, and then they beat him, and then they're playing him in the cup again, and they might beat him again. But because I desperately want to see us play like a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3 or a 4-4-2, just something where, your attackers attack rather than your wing backs attack. Like, I want to see this. Is one of the ways why I kind of like Xavi is because Xavi goes, I want my back 4 to defend and I want the other players to attack.
yeah.
So I wouldn't mind it if we just had a back 4 of players who defend and then our wingers attack. Our striker are the ones that attack rather than being the dummy ones to them for the CDM to ghost in the box and for the wing back to go on the outside. But no, I think in terms of what Glasner's doing at Palace is just. Yeah, I think it's amazing.
Yeah, it's
They're
phenomenal.
second in the league.
They're phenomenal.
They are second in the Premier League after 6 games.
Really strong.
And
side.
they've had a pretty poor. Like if you think of losing Elise, losing Eze, like they've not replaced him with players of that caliber. So his team has kind of got weaker, and he's still finding a way of getting the results. Like fine, we'll drop Dachi Kamada a little bit deeper, and we'll figure that out, and then we'll put Nketiah in that role, and that'll work. And we'll bring in Jeremy Pino, and I'll tweak it and make him a bit more of a winger, and he'll be the Eze replacement, but not like for like. Like he's finding a way of making it the same but different, rather than just putting like square pegs in round holes and being like, well, you sold my best players, so
he's a clever guy.
He is.
He's a really clever guy.
He is. It's interesting to see as well with what happened with Crystal Palace on the European level. With all what was going on. With the decision that went against him as well, how Glasner's been able to handle that, but then, like you said, how he's been able to manage the players, and he hasn't really looked a bit out of place, with how he set up the teams, and he's got some really good results. That result, obviously at Selhurst Park, was big for them. It was really big, and it was great for Eddie Nketiah to get that goal. But Crystal Palace, they're a strong side. They're a very, very strong
We've
side.
got them in the Emirates in 2 game weeks, so let me not talk too much. Eddie, if you dare.
Tie on the side of that one. Tie on the side of that one. Yeah. No, I think it's Iraola, of course, as well, doing really well with Bournemouth, because they lost like 3 of their 4 defenders. Obviously,
and I would respectfully disagree with you. I think those managers will want to go to Man United, because
I think
imagine if you're that manager that
you're not. You don't
if
really
you imagine that you're that manager that takes them back up the table.
They all have that ego.
But Amrin thought that as well.
No, but he wasn't good enough.
But you would have looked at it, if you looked at it on paper beforehand, everyone would have taken Amrin and said, definitely he's going to lift Man United from where they are.
I thought he'd do better.
100%.
But I also think...
but what's that got to do with the other managers not thinking they can also do it? What are they looking at Amrin and going, or if he can't do it, I can't? No, they're looking at Amrin and going, I'm better than him.
I think if you asked every single manager out there on the market, could you get Man United back, they'd all probably go, I'll back myself. Like Sean Dyche is going on podcasts.
Do you know how much that cements you in history as well, by the way?
Yeah, if
you're the guy who lifts United back, that cements you. Exactly. Your legacy is like unshatterable.
Exactly.
And the managers will look at that and go, I want that.
Yeah.
They will. I really think.
If they don't, that's the thing. Look at
but the thing is, like they said, but I do agree with what Jack and Dylan have said.
Yeah.
There's 2 things you got to remember that managers have predominantly in their characters: ego. And saviour complex. They will want to be the ones to say, right, I can do that. I can take this club and put it here. I am the man. And that's, what I mean. Especially, and a club like Man United, of course they're going to want.
Yeah.
But we've got plenty of stuff obviously coming up in the next week or so. You've got Champions League action is back. You've got obviously Premier League on the weekend. You've also got the game tonight.
For some of us.
But I'm speaking as DR Sports host of Live at 5, which is obviously live
and that's
every
the other
weekday.
thing, by the way, with Amorim. I mean, you've only got 1 game a week now, so you ain't got that pressure.
Still struggling.
It's so rough. Like we win every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks, and it's
Man
like
can't get back-to-back wins. When was the last time he got back-to-back wins?
I don't know, about 15 years ago. No, it was at some point under Ten Hag. We've not done it under Amorim.
But Champions League football is back.
Did you not just do it? The Chelsea game, was that not 2 in a row?
That was 2 in a row at Old Trafford. But it was going to be 2. If we beat Brentford, it would be 2 in a row in the Premier League. We might have had a win, like winning the Premier League and then winning the Europa League or something. But in terms of back-to-back Premier League games, not happened since Eric Ten Hag. Or maybe it was Ruud. No, it wasn't Ruud van Nistelrooy. No. But yeah, since Eric Ten Hag. But yeah, live at 5. We obviously here 5 p.m. every weekday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I will be here with you live at 5 o'clock to go through all of the latest news. We'll be previewing all the Champions League games, as they come and here and there. And then Friday, we'll be again looking at the weekend games. Alice might be coming back as well for some more predictions, because my dog got 4 out of 4, by the way.
Wow.
She came on the show, did 4 predictions on this table with me.
She got 4 right?
Oh,
she got all 4 right.
Wow.
Which is, I think, yeah. So
I've heard there's a VAR check over the Arsenal one. I've heard someone said a draw.
No, yeah, someone said a draw because she went and ate the other treat afterwards. But at the end of the day, she's a dog, so she's going to go and eat all the treats. She ate every single treat Christian had here when he did it last week. But regardless, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you really enjoyed the show. If there's anything you disagreed with or agreed with us, do let us know in the comments. Let us know your take on everything we've spoken about with Amorim, Moyes, the referees, the decisions, and all that. Apart from that, I will see you tomorrow in 23 hours at 5 p.m. here. I believe with Abby will be back on me as well. And then I don't know if you're on it tomorrow, Laurie.
I'm not sure. I haven't had the call from Haz yet.
I haven't had the call yet.
I know I am on Wednesday.
Either way, you'll find out in 23 hours if Laurie's joining or not. You'll be back. But apart from that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.
Catch all the best shows from your favourite fan channels on GFN Soccer TV, now streaming on Samsung TV Plus.